welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet the one row gingham pattern and how to carry over the yarn. The difference between this gingham pattern and the traditional square gingham that I showed you before in a tutorial is that you don't have to cut and weave in the ends. We will just be carrying all 3 shades of yarn across. You can see this at the end. And then we will be crocheting over it with a border. So today I'm going to show you how to crochet this pattern. I also wrote an illustrated tutorial on my blog, Crafting Happiness. I'll put a link in the description for you. It has a photo tutorial and explanations for those who learn better from pictures. So let's get started. You will need 3 different shades of one color, usually a darker shade, a medium shade, and a light shade. Or you can, for the light shade, you can also use white. I use 3 shades of brown, as you can see here, and a 4mm crochet hook. The gauge for this pattern is 5 stitches by 1 row. So it's 5 stitches by 1 row per block of color. And to multiply this pattern, you will need multiples of 10 chains plus 8. So mine is 28 chains long. So let's start with dark brown. And we will be crocheting in a 4th stitch. The pattern is crocheted in double crochet stitches, so that works pretty fast. So double crochet in a 4th chain. And then 3 more double crochet stitches in the next chains. So before you finish the 5th double crochet, we will be introducing the medium brown. And we will change the color on the 5th chain. So just make your double crochet halfway. Let me show you again. So what you do is yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you'll have 3, yarn over and pull through 2, and this, at this point you are halfway through your double crochet. Let the brown aside, dark brown aside, and pick up the medium brown, and then just pull it through the 2 remaining loops on your hook. And this is how you make the color change. And now you will be carrying the dark brown across. So double crochet as usual in a following chain. Just pull the yarn a little bit, make it tight. So to carry the yarn along, I also carry the tail, so then you don't have as many ends to weave in. Just insert your hook, yarn over, insert your hook in the next chain, and keep the spare yarn in between your yarn on a finger and the hook, and just crochet over it. And now you caught this yarn in between, it will just be carried along. So double crochet as usual. We will need to make 4. And now on the 5th one, we will just be doing the 5th one halfway and then switch colors to dark brown again. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over again, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and when you have 2 loops on a hook, just switch the dark brown with the brown. Just pick up the dark brown, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops, and that's your color change. And just slightly tighten it up. Don't tighten it too much, just slightly tighten it up. And now we continue with brown. Just like before, we carry the brown yarn across. Just insert the hook, catch it in between. As you can see, it's in between the loop on your hook and the yarn on your finger. Place that loose yarn there and just crochet over it. And we will be making 4 more double crochet stitches, and then on the 5th one we'll be changing colors again. Okay, so we've got 4, and now we make a double crochet halfway. So once you have 2 loops on your hook, again switch between. It really doesn't matter if you switch with a yarn in front and then you pick it up in the back, or if you pick the yarn in the front. It really doesn't matter. And make the switch. Okay. So now we continue with brown. Make 4.5 double crochet stitches. Okay, we have 4, and now we make 1 halfway, and once you have 2 loops on a hook, switch back to dark brown and pull through, and you can see how the color changes are happening. Okay, so this is the last block. Okay, I think, oh, let's do it again. So don't forget to carry the brown yarn along. Okay, so we got 4, and now in the last stitch we will do half a double crochet, and then right at the end we will switch the colors to brown. And now I'll show you how to carry the yarn across. We will move the dark brown over the medium brown from left to right. You can see you caught it between the yarn and the loop. Turn around, see better. So you can see the yarn is in between the loop and the tail, and then we will be single crocheting in the very first chain, and then 2 chains, and this is your first double crochet in a row. So the way this works is when you single crochet over this yarn, it kind of locks it in place, and then it's easier to carry along. It also eliminates the gaps between the first and second chain, that usually occurs when you just chain 3. As you can see, there is no gap in between them. Just looks like a regular double crochet. So don't forget to carry the dark brown yarn along and make your 4.5 double crochet stitches. Okay, and now, as you can see in this pattern, once we've done the brown and dark brown, the next row is brown and cream. So we will be switching colors now to cream, and we will be carrying all 3 colors along, so we won't be cutting any yarn. Okay, so this is where we switch. Just pull the yarn like this, and we will be carrying along the tail as well, so we don't have to weave it in. So just grab all the yarn and crochet over it. So yarn over, insert your hook. You can see you caught it in between, and make a double crochet over it, and just pull lightly. Just pull lightly so the stitches are one next to each other. All right, so now we will be crocheting over the 2 colors, and the third one, it's a tail. So if you don't want to crochet, bring it along, then you just have the 2 colors. I'll bring along the tail as well. Make your double crochet stitches. And just make sure your yarn is laid on top, not on the sides, on top, and that way it won't be very visible. And make sure it's relatively tight. Don't if you say don't tie it too tight, because you'll pull the work. It's just loosely tied. Okay, so we make 4.5 double crochet stitches. You can see here. And now we will be switching to brown. So bring the brown and pull through the last 2 remaining loops, slightly tight. And now we will be crocheting over with brown. Okay, so it's double crochet over the yarn to carry it around. From time to time, just make sure it's the yarn you carry over is just laid flat on a base. Okay, one more. So halfway through, we switch back to white, to cream. It's a bit tangled. You can see when you work with 3 different colors, it happens sometimes, and it's all tangled. You just have to move the balls around, I guess. That's what I do. Okay, let's continue. So we continue with cream. Yarn over, pull through the 2 loops, and again just yarn over the yarn, crochet over the yarn. Okay, so we made our 4.5 stitches, you can see here, and finally we switch to brown. Okay, so as I said before, it doesn't matter if the yarn is in front or in the, well, this is the front or in the back, but it's important not to be in between the colors like here. So pick a side and place your yarn that way, and the other two strands are on one side or another. Okay, so switch to brown, and we're gonna make the last block. And as usual, on the fourth chain we only go halfway with our double crochet stitch. Okay, so halfway, and then we will be moving back to, switch back to dark brown. As you can see here, it's dark brown, brown, dark brown, brown. That's how you switch colors, just like that. So let's switch to dark brown. Let's move all the yarns on one side and the brown to the other side, and yarn over and pull through. Now we're gonna turn. You can see this is your gingham pattern. So what we do to carry over the yarn, it's a bit fiddly. Once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy. You bring the two strands from left to right over your working yarn. That way you core it and you move that over to the next row. So your unused yarn from left to right over your working yarn and catch it in between. And now we will be single crochet in the very first stitch and over the yarn, and then 2 chains. And this is your, let's pull the yarn a little bit. This is your first double crochet in a round. And then lay your yarn flat on top of your stitches and double crochet over it. Let's make 4.5 stitches. So that's 4 and a half. And once you have 2 loops, we will be switching to brown. So we do the brown over the cream. Don't stress much about this yarn. At the end, when you finish with one color, just pull it through, see, and then it will straighten over. So don't stress much about it while you work your double crochet stitches. Just crochet over them. As you can see, so now I'm on my last. So I made 4.5. You can see the yarn's a bit loose on the sides. All you have to do is just pull to straighten it, that's all. And then switch back to dark brown. and tighten the brown a bit and start again. So I made 4.5. The yarn's a bit loose, as you can see. It's a bit loose here, doesn't matter. All you have to do is tighten it, and you see how it disappears. Then switch back to brown and crochet through the last loops. Then dark brown, just tighten a tiny bit so you don't have loose loops. Okay, again, make 4.5. You can see yarn, it's a bit loose and then it sticks out. Don't worry about it. Just before you switch colors, just pull a little bit, not very tight, just a little bit to make it straight along your row of stitches. And back to dark brown. Okay, tighten up and switch to brown again. And this is your one row gingham pattern. It's easy to make, works quite fast because of the double crochet stitches, and looks like this. And just repeat these two last row. And I usually, like widthwise, I started with dark brown, I ended with dark brown. Lengthwise, it will look better if you do the same. If you start with dark brown and I end up with dark brown again, it just looks really nice and symmetrical. So let me show you again how to carry the yarn one last time. Oh, got tangled a bit. So you just switch to brown, move your brown down, and the yarn that is not in use, which is cream and dark brown, move it to your right over the working yarn, which is brown, and you can see you caught it in between the loop and the yarn. So yarn, turn around, single crochet in the very first stitch, but make sure you catch that loose yarn. So single crochet and 2 chains, and then tighten up a little bit, and that's how you carry the yarn over. And you can see on the sides, you can see a little bit of the yarn, but if you make a single crochet row around it as a border, it will look absolutely just fine. So this is it. This is the one row gingham pattern. I hope you found my tutorial easy to follow. Don't forget to follow me on social media, like and subscribe to my channel for more free tutorials like this one. Happy crocheting!